Matthew chapter number 11, verse number 21. Woe unto you, Chorazin! Woe unto you, Bethsaida! For if the mighty works which were done in you had been done in Tyre and Sidon, they would have repented long ago in sackcloth and ashes. Chorazin and Bethsaida, they were north of the Sea of Galilee. And as we've been studying, Yeshua or Jesus made numerous trips back and forth across the Sea of Galilee. So many of his miracles was based in this Capernaum area, which you can see is very close. So for Christ to say, woe unto them, Christ is saying, you saw so many mighty miracles. There's so many scriptures. And we can show you. There's so many scriptures. If we come over here in our treasury of scriptures, look at all these scriptures. Matthew 6:45. And straightway he constrained his disciples to get into a ship and go to the other side before unto Bethsaida. Then you have Matthew 8:22 as well. And he came to Bethsaida. Then you have Luke 9:10. Then you have John 1:44. Then you had John 12:21. And like we said, if you followed our other videos, we illustrated it. We illustrated how many times Christ has went back and forth across to here. So we can see they had so much evidence, but yet they would not believe. And here's another map just to try to give you a broader perspective. Here's Capernaum, Bethsaida right there. So you can get a visual idea of where we're talking about. But he was saying, if the miracles in you were done in Sidon and in Tyre, then they would have repented a long time ago. Tyre and Sidon were coastal cities to the Mediterranean. So right here is Sidon and Tyre. And here's another closer map. Once again, here's the Sea of Galilee. Here is Sidon, and here is Tyre. So you can get a visual perspective. And all the way down here is Jerusalem, Bethlehem, and then we have the Galilee. So why would Christ make this reference to Tyre and Sidon? Well, if we look over here in our Bible dictionary, we can see that these were coastal cities which had a very proud heritage. And Tyre had moved from a coastal city to an island, and it had fortified itself with walls of 150 feet. And they were pretty impervious to attacks. But the Bible prophesied, you can read Ezekiel 21st chapter, verse number 3. Here it is right here, of where God even prophesied how Alexander the Great was going to use the building material and the rocks from the previous, and we can see right down here at the end verse, and they shall lay thy stones and thy timber and thy dust into the midst of the sea. Alexander the Great took the remnants from the old city, threw them into the sea, and built a crossway, and that's how he conquered Tyre, and how it was such a bitter defeat. But Christ is saying that if they would have saw all the miracles and saw all the wondering works, even they with their proud selves would have repented. And they would have humbled themselves if they would have saw what you've seen. Lord, help us to believe. One phrase is, seeing is believing. Christ was saying they saw so much and yet they still didn't believe. God, in the name of Jesus, help us to believe. Help us to hold to you. Help us to trust in you, Lord. Help us to walk after you and do your will. Thank God.